to the Philippine War and the fall of the Philippine Republic. So Duterte right now is reviving that idea of federalism.
Okay. So when did um how recently was it that the MILF started working with the federal government on cooperating and sussing out who's too radical, too extreme? When did MILF start doing that? Was that before 2015, or was 2015 sort of where that became the norm when Ansarul
Actually,
Caliphate happened?
actually, the cooperation between the MILF and Philippine government started earlier during the Arroyo administration.
The
Uh,
what administration?
Remember that MILF, Arroyo administration, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, the
Arroyo.
presidency before the Aquino administration.
Okay.
So in history shows that the MILF is a breakaway started as a breakaway of the Bongs of the Moro or the MILF.
Wait a minute. MILF is a breakoff of somebody
So
else. Who's MILF a breakoff of?
the Moro National Liberation Front.
So so MLF Moro. Oh wait.
Yeah,
MNLF Moro National Liberation Front.
M yeah, Moro
That's
National Liberation
that's
Front.
the one I was trying to
Okay,
think of.
I'll
That's the one I was trying to think of.
yeah, okay, I'll give you the background about that. Okay,
Okay.
the Moro Wars or the Moro Wars started in 1970 during the time of Ferdinand Marcos. After the failed operation whereby it uh, there occurred the Jabida. Yeah,
So I found Ferdinand Marcos. There we go. Okay.
yeah, Ferdinand Marcos. The Moro War uh, between the Philippine government and then the Moro National Liberation Front started in the 1970s. Actually, 1970s. After the Jabida massacre, whereby Philippine Army recruited some Muslims from Mindanao and will serve as saboteurs to the disputed territory of Sabah in Malaysia. However, it went out and the Philippine Army killed almost those Muslim saboteurs, would be saboteurs. So there was an outcry in Mindanao, and then led by Nur Mewari, led a rebellion against the Philippine government. So after 7 years,
Wait, what was the name of the guy who led the revolution or the rebellion?
it's Nur Miswari.
Nur. How do you spell the first?
Okay, Nur.
Okay. Oh, it pops up
Uh,
instantly. First one. First one to pop
yes,
up. Nur
Nur
Miswari.
Miswari.
Apparently, he was the most famous Nur Miswari. Miswari.
Yes,
Is he still
yes, he's
alive?
a former UP. He's a former UP professor who became the chairman of the MNLF and later on became the AR governor.
Wow. That's wild. Okay. So we have him here. So is he still alive? He's still alive, right?
Yes, he's still alive and still supporting Duterte in his administration.
Oh wow, he's a Duterte supporter, huh?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's the more Miswari I'm about.
Okay. All right. All right. This is
You say,
that's why I need you. That's why I need to chat with you to let me know who to look out for here. This guy. Okay, so
yeah.
he's a he's a supporter of Duterte. He's also the leader, essentially the kind of the longest running leader of the Bangsamoro, the nation of Moros.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's
However, however, in 1977, there was a there between the Marcos government and the more regional region called the Tripoli Agreement, which was being mediated by the Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi.
Muammar Gaddafi.
Yes,
That's
The Tripoli Agreement guarantees a homeland within the Philippine sovereignty for the which will be autonomous from the central government.
wow.
That that the breakaway of MILF led by Hakim Sa.
So I just pulled it up here. So that's 1976, the Tripoli Agreement.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's 1976.
Yes. Oh, so we have the Tripoli Agreement was signed on December 23rd, 1976 in Tripoli, Libya. Okay. Carmelo Z. Barbero, representing the government of the Philippines, and Nur Miswara. How do I say his name again? Nur. I gotta say this name, and I gotta be able to say it.
Miswari.
Miswari. Nur Miswari.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
the Moro National Liberation Front. The agreement defined the autonomous administrative divisions for Muslims in southern Philippines. Okay, so this
Yes.
is this where the present territory of ARMM is shown in red. Yellow are the areas intended to be part of it. In accordance with the 1976 Tripoli Agreement. Okay, so this is clarifying it there. So there's been some
Yes.
land take
Actually,
back.
that's what the MILF is trying to incorporate into their proposed Bangsamoro sub.
So they're trying to retake the area in yellow, basically. So
The yellow ones there.
yeah.
However, majority of those provinces,
This is wild. This is wild. Okay. Wow, look at their flag too. I say they have a handsome flag there. It doesn't appear to be an overt ripoff of other flags. We were joking about that, how Malaysia's flag is just a ripoff of America's flag. You know, there's different flags that are ripoffs. This one they use the symbolism, but it seems pretty unique. I like that. They're good.
okay.
I like the sword there. Okay.
So
Awesome.
actually, I'm these yellow areas being indicated in the is what the MILF is trying to incorporate. However, majority of residents of these provinces in yellow map are Christians. For example, 2 years ago, I went to some city during our when I was working with the government at that time, and it was by UNICEF. And then, as I was watching news in Sambuang, reported in Chabak or a Spanish-based language, majority the Zamboangueños, the province, city, and city were opposed to the in the Bangsamoro sub.
Okay.
So that's the difficulty with that, that they cannot able to just impose what they want to, or those provinces be included into the sub-state, because majority of them are Christians.
Right. Right. So they don't want to conform to Sharia law, which is sort of vital for a state, a Moro state.
Yes.
So I could see the conflict there. I see there being a logical conflict. And, one of the things that really, really, really shocks me about this whole situation is how organized it is. And when I'm looking at it from the outside, and I'm looking at the acronyms, and I'm learning different acronyms. Every news story I read, I find another acronym to toss into my acronyms of the Philippines. Like the NPA, and now today I learned there's an offshoot of the NPA called the the Revolutionary Proletarian Army, the RPA. So there's the NPA and the RPA.
That's a breakaway.
Yeah. So every day I learn more of this. So learning about these groups is fascinating for me. And I was joking with I mentioned this on the show a few times, is where do they all get the screen printing done for the uniforms? Like somebody do you think MILF or Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters or NPA, do you think they have screen printing equipment to make their own T-shirts and logos? Because they all have uniforms that have like nicely screen printed T-shirts, and I'm always looking at that going, where do they get their screen printing done? And it just yeah. Normally when you're thinking about a rebel group, you're thinking of people in the woods wearing whatever clothes they can find, and these guys all have screen printed uniforms with the logos. They have,
remember, MILF and NLF supported Malaysia. They were backed by some Muslim countries like and as far as Saudi Arabia, backed by some other.
What was the first country you said?
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Okay.
It's they supported the Moro in response to the name of the back of the Sabah territories.
Yeah.
So they want to get to the Philippines because of that.
I am fascinated by this. Let me ask you, you follow the news coming out of, I'm sure you follow the news out of Marawi.
Yeah.
And now that situation is over, except they're still finding occasionally a story will pop up where they'll find somebody who's supporting them and fled, which is important, But the thing that gets me though is the Maranao Victims Movement. Did you hear about them?
Actually, I just the main media had not reported about that. However, there were some postings in media that shows about that, and there were some indications. For example, when during in the evacuation camp or in the evacuation center, whenever the social workers were trying to teach some children, they were more supportive of some of those children, most or more supported to the Pute group rather than the government. Some social workers found it very disturbing.
Hmm. So yeah, I don't know. My my view of Maranao Victims Movement is a little cloudy because I'm following the Marawi situation. I'm following the Maute bunch and all that, but then when the MVM pops up, I see one big article that explains what they're about, and I saw it in Manila Times and Rappler, where they posted the demand list, because they had a list of demands, stuff that they wanted. They wanted to see the people get back to their homes quickly. They wanted MILF to have condemned Maute and not to have let them take over the city. They had a very Islamic extremist point of view, but then they, towards the end, had sort of a militant anti-government point of view, because they were saying, well, we're not being let back to our homes. So it was sort of a strange manifesto, because it kind of lashed out at everybody. But then I saw other things where people are saying that they were a violent group and they were an armed group. And I didn't really get that. Did you see reports showing pictures of people saying that they were MVM with guns and saying that they were going to kill government people?
No, no. There's no report. There's no official report being confirmed that they held arms.
Okay.
Actually, in the Moro culture, having a gun or having a weapon on the side would be permitted, actually, just like the Wild West.
Right. That's what it seems like with everything that I've seen. It looks like the Wild West. So the NPA. So the NPA appears to be infighting. They're fighting the Revolutionary Proletariat Army, and of course the NPA is bumping into the AFP in different places, and local militias as well. So local militias are fighting the AFP. I'm sorry, the NPA, and the AFP is fighting the NPA. Just random spots where it'll be an attack on the troops, an ambush. But why? What does that benefit them? And is that the NPA or is that the RPA? And that's why they're lashing out, because they're this young new group that's trying to prove themselves. Is that what's going on?
Okay, I'll give you the background about that too. Okay. The New People's Army was founded in 1969 by a UP professor named Jose Maria Sison, now exiled in the Netherlands. So the NPA is considered the successor of the Hukbalahap communist group in the 1950s, and then in the 1960s they established the New People's Army, whose ideology was Marxist-Leninist Maoist.
Okay.
So they were Maoist actually by orientation. So during their the 19
sorry.
towards
1 second. Sorry, one moment.
I'm sorry.
Hello, who's this? expecting that. Can I call you back? I'm actually on with my correspondent from the Philippines right now. So can I call you back about just a few minutes? Absolutely. All right. Later. Bye. Okay. That was sorry. That was a friend that I interviewed for the podcast who is from Pampanga calling me there. I did not have their number on my phone, so I didn't know who that was. I'm sorry. You were talking about the Bagong Hukbong Bayan. Is that?
Yes, I'm talking about the Bagong Hukbong Bayan.
Bagong Hukbong Bayan. They're totally trying to do the Karipunan thing, and they've got an AK-47 and a spear.
They believe actually they believe that they were the successors of Katipunan, although history suggests otherwise because the Katipunan is more of a classical liberal.
Classical liberal, I'm down. As a libertarian, I'm down for classical liberal.
Yeah, there were more on a liberal. Later on, the Republican to begin because they want to establish a republic.
Nice.
Which was indicated by Emilio Aguinaldo when they established the Republic Filipina in 1997 during the convention that which started the total or the Bonifacio and Aguinaldo.
And I think that's information overload for me today. I can't. I think we're gonna stop it there. Thank you so much. You have enlightened me so much. So now I know about Nur Masuari. Nur Musuari.
Musuari, yeah.
Musuari, yeah. Nur Musuari. So I'm gonna look him up.
So I'll give you some update.
What was that?
Regarding the Mama Saplo.
Oh yeah,
he was indicted in the Sandigan.
So he was indicted in that.
Aquino, yeah. Aquino was indicted by the Sandigan Bayan, which was a court specifically for politicians, public officials.
Okay. So is he being indicted because he didn't provide them enough? Like, basically, it was a super dangerous situation, and they just sort of did a special secret thing. Is that what it was, or
yes.
Or was this a known rescue mission that went wrong?
It was secret. Actually, it was kept in secret, and at the same time, he used the suspected PNP chief to oversee that operation. So the problem is that he didn't follow the chain of command. At the same time, he used a suspended official to oversee that operation.
You know, I like that he could be brought up on charges because there was a few situations similar to that happened in the last administration here in the United States. There's actually a situation regarding our border where the administration did a similar thing where they okayed a mission that got a couple people killed, called Fast and Furious. There was another situation in Libya, 2012, which is where 4 guys got killed because of because of a clandestine action that was going on, and missing taps. Um, a clandestine action going on that was gone through by the State Department and got 4 people killed. And then there was the transfer, a prisoner transfer that the president okayed without going through Congress, and it got leaked. This is the Bo Bergdahl prisoner transfer. So I like the thought. In America, basically, if you did all the worst things as a president, it doesn't matter. You just sort of retire and nobody gives a crap anymore. Like, there's never retribution for anything a president does in America. And when I was watching this Filipino movie about General Luna, I asked my wife. I said, what Filipino founding father died of old age? Because I was commenting on the thought of Andres Bonifacio getting killed, and then General Luna getting killed, and I said, is this a sign of corruption? But then I thought it is, because George Washington does sedition against England, dies of old age, right? Leads the revolution, becomes president, dies of old age. You have Robert E. Lee in the Confederacy, does a revolution against the United States that fizzles out, goes home, lives out the rest of his years. You've got all these different people like that, these seditious leaders. The founder of the KKK in America, the Ku Klux Klan, Nathan Bedford Forrest. He hangs up his robe, goes home, lives out the rest of his life, and it sort of made me think, how do these guys survive, and Andres Bonifacio doesn't? How does General Luna not make it to the end of the war? These are the elites of the Philippines, And then I thought about it, and Jose Rizal getting killed by the Spaniards and that, and I thought maybe there's nobody untouchable, because in America, even though we say we're so free, there are people who are just untouchable and they're just above the law. Maybe in the Philippines, there's never been anybody above the law. Basically, the law can always get you.
Actually, Andres Bonifacio, the case of Andres Bonifacio and Antonio Luna, which I believe about, is more complicated than that. Andres Bonifacio was accused by a military court sedition because he tried to establish a separate revolutionary army, which was already established and which was led by Emilio Aguinaldo. Aguinaldo, in his marriage, he tried to turn around the decision of the military court. Man, this is our brother. This is Katipunero. This is father of the revolution. Why do you want him to be executed? However, majority of the generals, led by P.L. Pilar and Mariano Noriel and Natividad Khan, said otherwise, because Bonifacio is becoming alive later on in his memoirs. Actually, Aguinaldo died of old age. He died at the age of 95, and he wrote that that's the biggest decision he ever regretted, allowing Bonifacio to be executed. And while on the case of Luna, it's more of a bad blood between the and Antonio Luna. Remember, during the Battle of Manila in 1899, he was almost defeated. He was almost surrounded by Americans, and then ordered the battalion. However, the Kawit battalion is a presidential security battalion, which was under the direct order of the president, the home guard of the president. And they have a protocol that they need to have a direct order from the president before moving following Luna. And so that Luna gets infuriated or gets angry when and tried to dismiss the captain of the battalion, Pedro Hanolin. So there was an ongoing conflict. At the same time, the Kawit battalion were the veterans of the Philippine Revolution, and they see it as a turncoat. Hey, that guy gave a testimony, uh, approved the death of Rizal. So they see him as a traitor. So both sides have bad blood of each other until June 5, 1899, where Antonio Luna got killed over a quarrel between him and his guards and the presidential security group, the Kawit Battalion.
So that guy approved. That guy approved the death of General. I mean, that guy approved the death of Rizal.
Actually, Antonio Luna gave a testimony condemning Rizal, that Rizal was one of the pioneers of the revolution against Spain.
Wow.
However, Antonio Luna regretted it and turned around and gave his services to the Philippine Republic under Aguinaldo. And Aguinaldo seems gave him, or since he was educated in Europe, was also educated on the military science under Leman. So Aguinaldo saw Luna asset for the establishment of a formal Philippine Republic,
Okay.
which some of the veterans didn't agree with Aguinaldo.
All right. I'm going to jump off here. Looks like I'm running out of hard drive space. So we'll have to pick this up later. No, this is incredible. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I love the history. But yeah, that's incredible that the Filipino history is just so physical. It's so right there. Whether you're talking about the spiritual successors to the Katipunan, or the MNLF, the NPA. This is the all the way back. You're just so full of information. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this.
Welcome.
You want to say goodbye to Antisocial News? To anyone watching? I'll go ahead and stop the recording there.
Okay.
All right.
So good day, bro.